Alright everybody, welcome back to another round of Operation Outer Space. This will be turn 10 for the Japanese, January of 1941. I believe we have no housekeeping to address. There's a minor question to do with recruiting in Mongolia. I already put that forward. I don't know the answer yet, so we'll just wait and see how that goes. But either way, I'm pretty certain it won't affect my decisions for this turn, so we're going to go ahead and get on with it. We'll start as always with the tech. Be rolling for large ship construction and LRA, both hitting on an 8 or higher. 10 on both. That's a hit on both. Fantastic. Japan feels its competition with America for LRA and is finally doing something about it. Alright, on to the purchases. We have 40 to spend, and we're going to spend 39 of it, saving 1. We're going to be declaring 3 infantry, 4 militia, 1 heavy tank, 1 destroyer, 1 terrain railroad connection, and 1 minor port upgrade to a major. That costs 4, so I'm using this advanced mechanized infantry as a stand-in for that cost. Alright, on to the combat movement phase. We're going to start in Manchuria. 1 infantry from western Manchuria is going to be invading Mongolia, joined by a cavalry from Rihi. That is going to trigger a 2d12 peacetime increase to the Americans, but we're already at war, so we don't care. In Kyushu, we have a seaplane that's going on map in P14. In P32, we have 2 tactical bombers on carriers that are mapping into P41. And there they will be joined by a seaplane from Siam. Okay, we have also from Kyushu the destroyers coming out of port in P15 and moving 1, 2, 3, 4 into P53, where it will be picking up a marine, and that marine will be amphibiously assaulting New Britain. Okay, from P43, we have 1 submarine moving 1, 2 into P50. It will be joining the 2 submarines that are already there, and all 3 of them will be raiding the British Commonwealth convoy lines. In the combat movement phase, we have 2 Marines and a light armor from the Philippines embarking onto the 2nd Fleet, joined by an infantry from Sarawak. Painful to watch, I know. Call that good enough. And then those 4 units and the fleet will be moving 1, 2 into I-11. I'm going to put them in Delhi for now, but they're in I-11. And they'll be conducting an amphibious assault onto southern India. The 8th Fleet that was already in I-11 is moving south 1, picking up a Marine from Sumatra, moving back north into I-11, picking up 1 of the infantry from Bengal, and those 2 units are also joining the amphibious assault. Alright, we have the 2 fighters from the 18th Air in Siam, flying 1, 2 into southern India, and the 2 tactical bombers that were on the 2nd Fleet? No, the 8th Fleet is the one with the carriers. Those two tactical bombers are just flying straight into southern India. And we're going to be bombarding with the two battleships, the battlecruiser, and 3 of the heavy cruisers. Um, Additionally, we will be raiding with the 2 coastal submarines from I-13, moving up into I-12, and a strategic bomber from Siam is flying 1, 2, 3 into Calcutta and bombing the miner factory. I do believe with that we have all of the combats declared. So let's go ahead and start rolling them out. We'll start in Mongolia. We have an infantry at 2. We have no terrain penalties here. Passing the border, there's no mountain here from here beyond. So we have a infantry at 2, cavalry at 3, and defending militia at 2. Round 1 gets a hit and attack. Captured. And that will trigger a Soviet sphere of influence increase. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and do that too. They need a 3 or higher, and they're at full income. I'm going to count that as a 2. That means, of course, that they are not at full income. Remarkable. But they will for sure be at the start of their next turn. Okay, on to the map combats. We'll be rolling for the seaplane, hitting on a 3 or less. 7 and a miss. Let's go ahead and roll for the other map combat. We have a seaplane at 3 and 2 tactical bombers. All of it misses. Incredible. Okay. Moving on, we take New Britain for free. Let's roll for subrating. We'll start in P50. We have 3 submarines rolling at a +1 each. That's no damage. That's no damage. That's 2 damage. And that's going to both go onto the Anzac line. And then we will continue with the coastal submarines with no net benefit, just even die roll. No damage. No damage. Okay. And then we'll roll for the strategic bombing. We've got inherent AAA and 2 D6 of damage. That's the full 5 damage, and the strategic bomber gets to fly home. Let's see here. Oh. I appear to have circled the factory in a way I can't erase. There we go. Alright. I believe last we just have southern India to roll for. Yeah, Okay, and I've set that one up on the battle board. We will start with the bombards. We have 2 battleships rolling at 4, battlecruiser at 3, and 3 heavy cruisers at 2. Hit, hit, just 2 hits. Okay, and that will go on the 2 artillery, preserving the AAA for the first round of combat. There are no first strikes anymore, so let's go ahead and start with the attack. On round 1, we have 5 infantry class units rolling at a 1. Yeah. 2 fighters and 2 tactical bombers. So let's roll those out. No hits on infantry, 1 hit from the fighter, 1 target select from the tactical bomber. They'll take a hit on a AAA. And that's gonna be, the target select is gonna go on a normal infantry. Okay, and then rolling in defense, we have the AAA rolling at 3s, 1 hit. That's all. Nice. And that's going to be a fighter dead. The AAA are done rolling. And then in defense, we have 4 infantry, 2 regular infantry, 2 motor infantry. 1 hit, 2 hit. That's it. Okay, so that's 2. Oh, no, wrong thing to copy. That's just a AAA body that still exists. That's 2 Marines that are dead. And the tank comes in. Alright, pressing on to round 2. Infantry class at 2 now. We're past the border terrain. 2 hits. Tank at 3. Miss. Fighter at 4. That's a hit. And 2 tactical bombers. 1 hit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all of them. In defense, we have 3 infantry class. Well, 2 infantry and 1 motor infantry. All misses. Wow, it's fairly pain-free. Okay, so the defense loses everything. The attack loses 2 Marines in round 1, and a fighter from the AAA. And everything else lands. Okay. Alright, at the end of the combat movement phase, let's land our aircraft. The 2 tactical bombers will re-land onto the fleet carrier in I-11. The remaining fighter will return to Siam on the 18th Air. The seaplane from P-41 will also rejoin the 18th Air. The strategic bomber will rejoin the 18th Air. That's gonna be it for those. The two tactical bombers from P-41 are going to return to P-32. The seaplane is going to return to Kyushu. And that's all of the aircraft, I believe, that took part in the combat movement phase. Okay, on to non-combat movement. Let's start north to south. We have one naval transport in P-32 moving up into P-14. These two submarines are both submerged. Picking up heavy armor and then moving 1-2 south into P-41. Picking up an infantry in Formosa, and then both of those units are disembarking into Hong Kong, and the naval transport will go in port in Hong Kong. The other naval transport from Formosa will be using strategic naval movement, starting in P-32, 1 into P-15, picking up the heavy armor, 2, 3, 4 into P-50, picking up an infantry out of the Philippines, 5 back up into P-41, and then those units will be disembarking into Hong Kong as well. And the strategic naval moving naval transport will also be going in port there. And as always, I'll make sure everything's clean when I pass the file along. The light carrier in P-15, I guess, is just going to go to P-32 and join the other carriers, the carrier group. Okay, in Siam, we have the 41st Army minus an airborne marching up into Burma. That's going to be 5 artillery, 3 infantry, 1 mountain infantry, and 1 motor infantry. And then we have, lastly, a tactical bomber in Dutch New Guinea flying 1, 2, 3, 4 onto Siam, onto the 18th Air. I believe that will cover all of our movements. Alright, so let's go ahead and place our buys and collect our income. We'll go ahead and roll for the data hour roll, considering I forgot that last time. I'd ideally like to not forget it again. We have 2 adjacent territories since we are attempting to influence Kwangtung. 5 and a miss, so no change. Okay. Placing our buys. The rail connection will be made between Burma and Bengal. We've got a militia in Bengal and a minor port upgrade to major in Burma. We'll have an infantry and a heavy tank in Siam. An infantry in Rihe, an infantry and a destroyer in Kyushu. Destroyer going in port. And then we have 3 militia left. 1 will go each in Java and Sumatra. and the other one will go in Guam. Okay. Yeah, I think that's all good. And then to collect our income, we have a base income of 39 plus 8, bringing us to 47. And then we saved 1, so we've got a bank of 48. Okay, with that, we'll pass things along to um, the rest of Mongolia aligns at the end of the combat phase um, to the Soviet Union. So I'll switch that over before passing the file along. But at any rate, we should now be more or less able to pass things along to the next British Commonwealth and free French player, MadManDan, for his turn, and we'll leave things there and say best of luck on your next rolls.